19, okay. 2018. Can we have invocation by Scott Ryder? Please stand.
Well, I just wanted to say that I'm honored to give the invocation during Teacher Appreciation Week. And thinking about tonight's invocation, which is a positive or influential message shared prior to each of our meetings, I asked Hazardville Memorial's second graders in Dale Gregoire's room 17 for help. And the message that they chose to share, that they chose and were not assigned, is about friendship. Make a new friend. Be respectful to friends. If someone is sad or lonely, try to cheer them up. Give friends compliments. Make someone happy by sharing. Say something nice to somebody every day and include everybody every time to make them happy. Play with someone when they have no one to play with. I like reading books with my friends and family. Playing basketball with my friends makes them feel nice, but playing catch with my friends makes them feel fantastic. You can give someone an air hug if they say it's okay. And telling someone that she is the best teacher will make her smile. So Mrs. Gregoire, upon your retirement in June, after 18 years at HMS and 40 years of education, your current classroom and certainly many before that think you are one of our best teachers. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
God bless America. Thank you, Mr. Ryder. Fire evacuation. We have the exit in the rear of the chambers. Go out to the parking lot, or my left, your right, and then left down the stairs into the rear parking lot. Kathy, roll call, please.
Mr. Ryder.
Present.
Mr. Renier.
Here.
Mrs. DePoe. Mr. Rutledge. Mrs. Riley.
Here.
Mrs. LeBlanc.
Here.
Mrs. Hernandez.
Here.
Mr. Neville.
Here.
Chairman Kruzel.
Here. Board guests, we want to add a board guest. We would ask if Mr. Kuchar, right? Yes. Mr. Kuchar could come up. I don't know if you want to join us in the front or just where you're seated. Why don't we all come up front? Okay. So on behalf of Teacher Appreciation Week, and actually today is the Teacher Appreciation official day, we as board had a plaque made up, and we want to read it.
Sure. It says, the Board of Education would like to thank the teachers of Enfield for making a difference for every child.
So we want to present this to Mr. Kuchar, if he could come up.
Tell them where the plaque was made, though. Enfield High.
Oh, yes, the plaque was made at Enfield High at the Mr. Daig's class. And that's it? Yeah. No, I knew it. It was handmade by our students.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So if you could pass that on to the rest of the staff. Thank you. Our staff does a phenomenal job at all our schools, and this is the least we could do to show our appreciation as a board. And they will appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, to continue with what the guests we want to see is Buzz Robotics is here. All those yellow shirts out in the audience. Turn them down. So would you, somebody like to come up and speak on behalf and give us a history of the season or the
Good evening. We're here tonight to discuss the Buzz Robotics 2018 season. I'm Lauren, and I've been on Buzz for 4 consecutive years.
I'm Laura, and I've been on the team for 3 years.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I've been on Buzz for 3 years. For those who may not know, Buzz Robotics Team 175 has just completed our 23rd year as a FIRST Robotics competition team. This is the major league of all FIRST Robotics programs. This season, our team is made up of 15 students and 18 mentors. As a team, we consistently place in the top 1% of 3,647 teams globally. This has been a direct result of the support provided to us by our sponsors, UTAS, Peerless Tool, and the Enfield Board of Education for 23 years. To kick off this year, the FIRST Robotics competition game of 2018 was revealed on January 6th. The game Power Up requires robots to pick up yellow milk crates and deliver them to platforms that most resemble scales. The main goal is to gain control of the platforms by leaning them towards your team's alliance. During the first 15 seconds of each match, the autonomous period begins, where our drivers do not command with the robot, but a pre-written program controls its movements. Following that is a 2-minute and 15-second teleoperated period, where the drivers then take full control of the robot. To wrap up the match is a 30-second endgame, where the robots are expected to hang off a bar to gain points.
During our 6-week build season, we manufactured 2 robots, one for competition that needs to be packed in a sealed plastic bag at the end of the build period. The second robot was to remain unbagged. This was for drive practice and programming. This year, we were lucky enough to have a few committed parents who were willing to build Buzz a practice field inside of the Enfield Annex. This allowed us to have experience actually playing this year's game and gave us the opportunity to invite other teams from our area to come practice with us. This included teams from Windsor Locks, Granby, Storrs, Mansfield, Agawam, and Longmeadow. Our first competition of the year was the Rhode Island District event at Bryant University. Buzz finished 7th-ranked Alliance captains. This was impressive for our first competition. We then continued on to quarterfinals, but were eventually eliminated by the 2nd-ranked Alliance. Our second competition was the Hartford District event held at Hartford Public High School. Buzz finished as Alliance captains of the 5th-ranked Alliance. Beginning by eliminating the 4th-ranked Alliance, we faced off with the 1st-ranked teams and were unfortunately knocked out. Our outstanding performance at both our previous events qualified us to compete against the top 64 teams in New England at district championships. As expected, the competition at district championships was far more difficult than previous events. At the end of our seeding matches, Buzz ranked 5th in all of New England to then be moved up to 4th in Alliance selections. We continued on to eliminate 5th-ranked Alliance, but then were defeated by the 1st-ranked Alliance.
From April 18th to 22nd, Buzz Robotics competed in the FRC Houston World Championships. Buzz qualified for this competition due to our success in past competitions, ending the traditional year ranked 14th in New England. However, if we had not done well, Buzz would have still competed in the Worlds due to our status as a chairman's team. Chairman's is an award given exclusively to first FRC teams who exhibit outstanding teamwork, friendliness to other teams, and best portray the FIRST values. First, Buzz was honored with this prestigious award in 2002. At the recent championship event in Houston, hundreds of teams were divided into 6 fields where they competed against other teams from over 20 countries. After finishing the beginning rounds ranked 23rd, Buzz was chosen during the eliminations to join the 6th Alliance, with Pennsylvania team Miss Daisy and Colorado team the High Fives. The Alliance competed in the Carver Division, defeating both the 3rd and 2nd Alliance in a series of intense matches. However, in the final match, our robot experienced a mechanical failure, which after a close match led to our Alliance's elimination from the competition. Despite this, Buzz left the Carver Division with Miss Daisy and the High Fives, having successfully won 2nd place in the division. Throughout all of Buzz's competitions this year, the team dramatically improved. The students' and mentors' ability to creatively work together has led Buzz through a successful year with a climactic finish. We are all extremely thankful for the experiences Buzz Robotics has allowed us to enjoy the past year, and look forward to the next fast-paced education and excitement-filled year. On behalf of the Buzz Robotics team, we would like to thank the Enfield Board of Education for their support this year and throughout our team's existence.
Well, how about we give them a round of applause first? Great presentation. Anyone? Ms. Riley?
Oh, okay. So
I don't know a whole lot about you guys. All I know that it's really, really awesome what you guys do, and my son is like chomping at the bit, and he's only in first grade and he wants to do this. So my question is, how old do you have to be to join, and how do you join?
So here in town, we have a Lego League, which is at the middle school. So once he gets to middle school, he can join. And we also have a First Tech Challenge team at the middle school and at the high school. And we have Buzz Robotics at the high school also.
Awesome. Thank you. You ladies, everybody, you guys did a great job. I'm so proud of you guys.
Mr. Blank?
At the end, when you guys were talking, you thanked us, but I want to thank you. For somebody like me, I am not mechanically inclined. Physics, please, I cannot. So
She
for
can't even
me,
push the buttons.
yeah. For me, I'm always in awe of what you guys can accomplish. What also amazes me is your dedication and hard work, as I don't think people realize what the volunteers do and what you guys do right after January. And to me, that is commendable, and you make us proud. So we should be thanking you, and that's why I am thanking you. I know, are you guys seniors or?
I'm a senior and they're juniors.
Okay. Are you interested in going into engineering, or you are? That's awesome. I went on a college tour, and our tour guide was an engineering major at Western New England, and she was just talking to me about her major, and but she had a passion for it, and so I want to thank you again. I want to thank everyone who's involved, and you make us proud.
Mr. Neville?
Ditto. She stole my thunder.
Okay, he's done that. That's enough.
First of all, I mean, we love seeing you guys come up here and hearing the journey you take every year with a new challenge and new thinking to get yourselves to the winner's circle here. So we thank you, as Tina has said, but we also like to thank your mentors here. I've seen those faces there many, many years. They are as loyal as you are, and they're actually incredibly committed to making you guys success. So thank all of you, and keep coming back. We love hearing with this, and it makes us feel good. This is why we run. We don't run for a lot of the budget stuff and all that stuff, but whatever budget we get, we want to go to you guys and get there and get this thing done and enjoy what you're getting. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ms. Hernandez?
Hello. First of all, congratulations and job well done. And I actually have a question for anyone who'd like to answer. Obviously, you're working with robotics, and we talk a lot about the importance of STEAM, and we talk a lot about the importance of women in STEAM. So I'm thrilled to see you participating. But I'd like to know what you have taken away from this experience that maybe is a bit above the academics of it.
So basically, this program has changed my entire outlook on the world. I've learned how to work with a team, get my voice out there, and I've learned the difficulties of being a woman in STEM, and I've learned how to overcome them and present myself in a professional environment.
Yeah, definitely what Lauren said. Also, definitely a lot of self-confidence. I couldn't picture myself doing this in middle school or freshman year. And also a lot more collaborative work. It's a lot of communication, because often our season is during the winter, so we have a lot of snow days. Like this year, we had to communicate by conference call, and that was the first time I ever did a conference call. But yeah, definitely different type of education than in classroom, and that's why I really enjoy it.
Yeah, basically the same thing. It's more than robots, as we always say in FIRST, because it's communication and teamwork and leadership, and people who go through the whole program. You really get to see growth, and it's a lot of good experience. Thank you.
Anyone else? Well, I want to add, I was there at your kickoff party for a little while anyway, and I helped out as much as I could, but your mentors and everything did all. I even saw you guys working on machines, so you guys did a lot of the work, a lot of the building, and And I did make it to Hartford to see the competition there. And every year it just amazes me. It's just, you guys do a great work. You're putting Enfield on the map with this and for 23 years now, and just keep doing it. And the mentors, please keep doing what you can. This is the success that we want to hear. You know, somebody from a freshman didn't know what she was doing, and now she's a senior ready to graduate in engineering. That's what we want to hear. So thank you for what you do. On behalf of the board and everybody, we'll give you another round of applause. Could you tell Hodge? Hodge called me today that he didn't have the plates or something that you picked up, Peter, and so tell him you have them.
They're in my truck.
Okay. He left me a message, and I tried to call him back, and he didn't.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you. They want to put you on the spot there, but I just remembered. All right. Number 7, Superintendent's Report. Mr. Drezek.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to our friends at Buzz, because I certainly don't want to follow that. But now, thanks for forcing me to. But thank you. I, like like the chairman mentioned, had an opportunity to see Buzz in action. It's the first time I've been to a live event I've watched online before, and not only echoing all the sentiments that our students said, but watching it in real time. It was as competitive as any sporting event I've ever seen in my life, and to watch, but it's a heck of a lot smarter than any sporting event I've ever partaken in my life. So I'm continuing to be amazed at the work they do, and I'm looking forward to. I told them, you know, now that Dr. Schuman's no longer here, I told him when you finally get that White House visit, he's not coming. So keep up the good work. And another thing I wanted to mention, I'm going to put him on the spot again, but we forgot to mention that Mr. Kuchar is actually the president of the Enfield Teachers Association, so representing all of our Enfield teachers. So thank you guys all again. Our student representatives, Matt and Jackie, were unable to make it tonight. They both had a previous commitment. So, Megan, it's all on you.
Go ahead, Megan.
I guess I'm riding solo tonight. So senior prom is this Friday. AP testing started yesterday. Fantastic Festivals, I believe, is also a JFK event, but on Saturday, the Enfield High's First Symphony Orchestra will be competing for the first time in it. An orchestra and a small chamber group will have a concert on May 24th at 6:30 in the auditorium. The Enfield High School Band will also be performing on May 17th at 6:30 for the spring concert. And lastly, both JFK and Enfield High bands will be performing in the Memorial Day Parade.
Thank you. Mr. Drezek.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Building Tomorrow project will hold a celebration on Wednesday, May 9th at the Stowe Early Learning Center. This event is open to all students, grade K to 5, and their families. This is the Lego Building Tomorrow project, and we welcome everyone to come. On Thursday, May 10th at 7 p.m. in the JFK Auditorium, John F. Kennedy will hold their 2018 Junior National Honor Society induction ceremony. Board members previously received invitations. Those are enclosed in your packet. Also is included in your packet are a list of May events, and something that's not in your packet that I don't have all the details of, but I wanted the board to be aware. At a previous meeting, I indicated that we had 8 students from Enfield participating in the statewide invention convention. I'm happy to report that 6 students have been selected to participate in the National Invention Convention. And we're waiting for confirmation, but we're almost certain that all 6 are going to take part in the National Convention in Dearborn, Michigan next week. I'm trying to communicate with Mr. Daig to get confirmation. So if I get it, I will let you know via a board email, but I want to at least get it on the record that 6 Enfield students are actually participating on the national level. That concludes the superintendent's report.
Any questions for the superintendent? Audiences? No audiences. So anyone want to speak? Okay. Board member comments. Would you like to start, Mr. Ryder, or, okay?
Thank you very much. So again, it's Teacher Appreciation Week. So I wanted to thank all of our great Enfield teachers. I know a lot of the PTOs are organizing different events throughout the week. Gifts are not required, but a drawing from a younger student, a note from an older student, or a letter from a parent goes a very long way. We should be thanking our teachers all the time, but we do set aside this first full week in May every year as Teacher Appreciation Week nationally. Since we've last met, I saw 2 amazing plays. We saw the musical Music Man at Enfield High. My daughter and I went to go see the Saturday matinee a couple of weeks ago, and then this past weekend we saw Aladdin Jr. at JFK with the whole family. Both were fantastic. I want to thank all of the students, all of the volunteers, all the parents, and all the teachers that help put these events on, because they are very much worth your time. If you haven't been to one, they're open to the public. So if you didn't make it this spring to either of these 2 shows, please do your best to try to catch one of these next year. I also read the first chapter of the One Book, Three Schools book for the Eli Whitney Family Literacy Night, which was last Thursday. So the kids all have their books now in all the 3-5 schools, and we encourage everybody to get through that and enjoy the book. I had a great time reading that with the Eli Whitney friends. Congratulations again to Buzz Robotics. I think that's fantastic. And my last note from Eli Whitney is we do a program there called Girls on the Run. It is a full class. There's 15 girls, all grades 3 through 5. The girls will be participating in their celebratory 5K at Cigna, which is our title sponsor in Bloomfield, Connecticut on Saturday, May 19th. Anybody's welcome to go and cheer our girls on. They ran their practice 5K at the school last Tuesday, and a lot of the teachers were there. I want to thank the teachers for coming out after hours to watch the girls run laps in the library and Whitney backyards. And our girls will be recognized at an assembly coming up soon, where the entire school will go out and walk the path that they ran once, which our girls had to run 9 times to get their 5K in. So they'll get a little taste of what our girls have been working on. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ryder. Mr. Renier.
Thank you. I'd also like to echo everything else in regards to teacher appreciation, and just thank all of the teachers out there that are giving everything to our students every single day, before school, during school, and after school. So I thank you for that. I also like to thank again Buzz Robotics for coming out, and I was thinking, wouldn't it be cool if we get like a robot to just throw out diplomas on graduation day? Speed up the process a little bit. That'd be great. Yeah, little cannon. So that'd be pretty cool. And I'd also like to make an announcement that if anyone's watching this or knows of anyone who participated in Enfield Soccer Club, they are offering 2 scholarships to seniors this year. So if you were a participant in Enfield Youth Soccer, go to their website, and they're giving away $2,000 scholarships. So that would be good for any seniors that partook in that. Hazardville Memorial is doing a math and read night on Monday the 14th from 6 to 7:30. And that will be in the school. And the last thing I just wanted to make a comment on and get the ball rolling on this, maybe for the better or for the worse, I don't know. And I don't know if this is in curriculum shop or if this is in policy shop, or maybe it's a marriage shop. We could do the both. So the idea came up last year, and just kind of re-engaging it this year, and kind of extending recess as it stands now. It's K through 2, but extending that to all 5, K through 5, and seeing what we can do to possibly look into, at the least 15 minutes a day to get these students up and moving. I mean, it's not just out there and playing like a lot of people think. I mean, recess has a lot of benefits to it. Number 1, it recharges the batteries. Number 2, you have a lot of social skills that you're developing with kids that you're strictly not doing when you're just looking at paper all day. And honestly, it's giving the kids a break. So again, I don't know if whose shop this falls under, and we can work collaboratively as a team and make this marriage happen. But recess for 15, I think it's a good slogan. So I think we could talk a little bit more about this offline or online. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Renier. Ms. Wiley.
Well, since Scott and Rich stole my thunder, I wore my Barnard Bidcat shirt because I wanted to thank all of the teachers and the support staff at Henry Barnard School for all of their hard work. You guys are a great team over there. Thank you so much. And then all of the teachers in the whole district, you guys are great. I always hear awesome things about you guys, so thank you very much. He took my one book, 3 schools thing. We finished ours over.
I know what I feel like.
Over at Barnard, and it was a really good book. And then their PTO, well, our PTO, is having a special persons dance on May 19th. And I like your hashtag, let's do 15.
Let's do it.
That's all I have. Thanks.
Ms. LeBlanc.
I would just like to say thank you, especially since today is Teacher Appreciation Day out of the week. I would like to thank all the teachers out there who have made a difference in my kids' lives, and especially all the kids' lives. And I have said this repeatedly, probably to the board more than I've said it, but it's something that I want the teachers to know is that this is one of the best boards of eds I have ever been on, and we support the teachers and their efforts fully. With that being said, I would like to say an extra special thank you to the teachers who have my middle son. You deserve it. Lots of extra thank yous. I know what you're going through. But again, thank you to all the teachers. I don't think you know the impact that you sometimes have and just the little things you do in the kids' lives. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. LeBlanc. Ms. Hernandez.
So yes, I echo my gratitude to the teachers. Like Scott, I was able to attend the Music Man and Aladdin Jr. Both filled my spirit. They were amazing and wonderful and such a great time with my family. So excellent, well done. Something that I wanted to talk about, and first thank you to the superintendent for giving me this information, also Principal Clark for giving me the information. So in Enfield, we have a very rich and diverse fabric that makes up our community. And some of the people who make up that community include those who are LGBTQ+. And I heard from some of my daughter and her friends, you know, it seems like in her class that there's a lot of people who are kind of embracing their orientation and their gender identity. And, you know, we had a conversation as a family and said, wow, there just seems like there's a lot of people, and how are we supporting them? And I don't think that there's more people. I think that Enfield is doing a really good job making our youth feel comfortable in being authentic to themselves. And so I just wanted to highlight some of the supports that are available, which include the GSA, which is the Gay Straight Alliance Club. They meet weekly and led by very dedicated staff members. The club has also sponsored 3 awareness days: Trans Remembrance Day, Ally Day, and a Day of Silence. They've attended True Colors, which I have had the opportunity to attend. It's a wonderful conference that supports our youth. And they, you know, invest in diversity training, making sure that, you know, we have mental health supports. I don't know if everybody knows this, but CHR provides counseling services at JFK and in the high school, and it is free of charge, and it's a wonderful service. So, you know, if you are a part of this community, I want to say that you are welcome here, and we support you. We support everybody, and we're glad that you're here, and we're glad that you are a part of Enfield.
Thank you, Ms. Hernandez. Mr. Neville.
Just a couple of things. Everybody has commented on teacher appreciation, but it's one of those things that we've, as a board, the last 2 boards have really made it a concerted effort to highlight that our teachers are one of our greatest assets to helping our students be successful. Obviously, our students are our greatest product, but we got them there through some of our teachers and through all of our teachers, and we greatly appreciate them. And I think we've looked at it in the budget process that we need to show that and how we deal with that. We don't just casually go through and look at these things. We got cut money. We're cutting teachers, because where we are now, that's where you can find large chunks of money. We've made it a point to say that's not where we want to cut. we can't cut the teachers because when we put a qualified teacher in front of a classroom of students, that's the best thing we can do with the money that we have. So we salute you and we thank you for everything you do. And I know that Mr. Kuchar will get that recognition back to the teachers so they know how much we think of them. The Buzz Robotics, you guys are great, okay? I'm sorry I haven't been able to make them. I used to go to them all the time when my son was doing it, but then I realized that was a long time ago because he just turned 37. Okay, so
Are you supposed to say that on TV?
Yeah, well, he's proud of it. But anyway, you guys are great, and unfortunately, some of your mentors have been there as long as he was. I mean, I just and they were super, and the what you do, and how you learn to work collaboratively together as one unit to solve one particular problem is just amazing. It would be easier if it was the same solution every year, but you guys make it hard because you do something different, and it's a whole new journey. So I congratulate you. Keep it up. Get more kids recruited to do this. That's what the world's about, working together towards a common solution, and you guys do it well, and you represent us well. So thank you very, very much. 2 weeks ago, one of our former vice principals passed away. He was actually one of the original vice principals in opening up JFK, Frank Perotti. He died at 91. I try to make it a point because I believe that we have to salute and remember those who came before us. We didn't get here as a school system by ourselves. It wasn't just us that got us there. It was the people who were here back in 1969 and 70 who started schools and built schools, one a year for 10 years, okay, that helped get us here. Frank was a wonderful guy. He was a vice principal here. He became principal at Mansfield Middle School. He was the principal at Coventry High School, the first principal at Coventry High School. He taught at Eastern Connecticut State University. He had a wonderful life. He was a wonderful man, but he started his administrative career here at JFK in Enfield and opened the school. So we salute you, Frank. You did a great job, and with the chair's permission, I've asked the superintendent to have a card sent to his family just to recognize him. I had the obit with me, and I forgot to bring it, Kathy. I apologize. I'll get it to you, though. And last but not least, I'd like to salute Scott Ryder. I think that was one of the most interesting and greatest comments that we've had in here. You took a little different tact and you made it work. And I think you deserve credit. Those kids deserve a lot of credit as well, and so does that teacher. Their idea. Yep. But thank you very much. I just couldn't let that go without positive comment. Thank you.
So I get to say ditto to all of it. I'm going to go on a little personal note. My twins turned 21 yesterday. My daughter graduated from college a year early last Wednesday. It was a phenomenal ceremony. It was 10 graduations from FIU. She was part of the 9th ceremony, and it was just all last week was just she really worked hard to do it a 4-year program in 3. Saved a little of my wallet too, so I gotta give her that. So I know she's home watching, that's why I wanted to say something. And that was my apology for missing the plays because I was out of town, but I heard they were great, and we'll leave it at that. So, number 10, unfinished business, we have none. Number 11, new business. 11A, policy revisions, approval of 2000 series, first reading. Mr. Renier.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this evening we are doing the first reading for the 2000 series, which is all administration and their roles and guidance to them. So right before you is the existing policies along with those, again, recommended by Gabe, that the policy committee has reviewed and put forth to you guys.
So do I have a motion to accept the first reading? So moved by Mr. Neville, seconded by Mr. Hernandez. Any other discussion? Sensing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Ryder?
Yes.
Mr. Renier?
Yes.
Mrs. Riley?
Yes.
Mrs. LeBlanc?
Yes.
Mrs. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. Neville?
Yes.
Chairman Krzel?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Number 12, board committee reports, curriculum. Curriculum, sir.
Excuse me. A very spirited and long meeting. I'm going to go through the first few things fairly quickly. It's fairly routine. But the last one I'm going to make it a point to read it, which is on the science pathways. We spent about an hour and a half dealing with that. I asked Michelle to get this to us quickly. We usually take a little bit longer to go through this, but because of people's concerns and the things that we've heard, we wanted to get something back. There'll be some other things coming out in more detail later, but I just wanted to let them know that, one, we had discussed it, and two, give them a brief summary, which is about 2 paragraphs long, but I want to do that. Learning strategies. Mrs. Birchall brought a proposal for a learning strategies course to be taught at Enfield High School. It's basically would be a restructuring of the academic support classes, which we already have. It would be a half credit per semester and would be taught by a special education teacher. It would require, as a lot of these courses would be, they would have to go through the PPT in order to have it assigned, so you get credit for it. It would remediate basic skills as well as building upon helping students make progress towards their IP goals. Social workers would also be used for part of this class, working with students on social skills. Basically, we approved this. It's gone on to the course of studies, and it will be added, I believe, Andy, it's going to be in for this year, right? For the next school year, correct? Okay, good. A structured literacy course is the second request from the special ed department. It was a proposal for a structured literacy course. It would be a 1-credit course and would be taught by a special education teacher. The need for this course is partly driven by the new classification of dyslexia by the state. The state references a structured literary program for students with this classification, which requires a systematic, data-driven, direct, and explicit approach to instruction, such as those used by the program, the Wilson Reading and Inspire reading programs. Placement for this course would be also determined at the PPT meeting and would require testing from the school psychologist to get in there. Once again, we approve this, and it will be going in. We do Wilson Reading Inspire now in certain cases, but now this will be actually getting credit at the high school because of the new designation. We approved textbook approvals. We've already approved the courses, but we approved the AP U.S. Government and AP Comparative Government textbooks. Oftentimes there's only one textbook that's available for AP, 1 or 2, so it isn't a huge choice. It has to be approved by the AP group. Modern World History. They presented the new proposed test for the grade 9 Modern World History. The publisher of the book is McGraw-Hill. It's also the publisher, McGraw-Hill is also the publisher for the recently purchased social studies books for grades 6, 7, and 10. So there's a continuity that happens there, which usually works out very, very well to the student's advantage. These books are some of the first ones that are aligned to the newly adopted National Social Studies standards. And the students can also access the online version of the book through an app on their phones, their iPhones, or their iPads. An oldie but a goodie, we're bringing Latin back, folks. And it wasn't hard to find a textbook for that. There's only one. They proposed a text, and it's going to start in September. Those of us that are as old as me all had Latin and sometimes Greek and all those things. So it helped us out, and so we're thinking that would help out the others as well. One of the biggest issues with this is there aren't that many people certified to teach Latin or Greek, but it's worthwhile to bring it back, and I'm glad they're able to do it. So again, another easy one to recommend the textbook for. The textbook only costs $20, and so compared to the $100 that we usually pay for textbooks. So Latin 1 is coming back. Science pathways discussion. As you all recall, we had a discussion. Some parents brought some concerns, and we've had calls and stuff. I think some of you folks have as well. There's some confusion around it. We wanted to clarify that, and we actually had a couple of parents at the meeting, and we had them join in the discussion to really clarify for us what the issues were. I'm going to just go through what the discussion was. It was an hour-and-a-half discussion, and a very, very good discussion. And some things are coming out of it that are going to go back and get written up, and some ideas of things that we can do to make it a little clearer for folks. But let me just go on. Mr. Degg came and explained the purpose behind the development of the science pathways that are in the Enfield High Program of Studies. The adoption of the Next Generation Science Standards, NGSS, by the state in 2015 is pretty much what precipitated the change in standards that we're required to teach our students. He explained that with the adoption of the NGSS came a change to curricular cycles for standards, both all in K to 2, 3 to 5, 6 to 8, and 9 to 12, with a number of the performance standards required at each level that go into greater depth as the levels increase. At each level, the standards focus on physical science, life science, and earth and space. The standards now include performance expectations, with approximately 70 performance standards at the high school level. He further explained that a number of factors, including teacher certification, were considered when figuring out how to ensure all high school students meet the required standards. Sadegh explained that we looked at the course sequences that students were taking most frequently and developed a combination of courses in each pathway that allows students to meet the necessary standards within the 3-credit requirement. The idea of trajectory, the direction that we're going, and moving of levels was discussed. It was suggested that the pathways chart be updated in the following ways. This is the first things they're doing. One, make the visual easier to understand. I think it was confusing to us as we were going through it, and I know it wasn't talking to the parents, it was confusing to them. Secondly, remove the word must from each pathway. The question was, I have to do this, there's no choice here. There is a choice, okay? We have to go through a certain process to get to that choice, but it's not absolute, and there are ways to do that. And 3, include a statement at the bottom that reads something similar to, courses within these pathways may be altered based on teacher recommendation and/or parent request. All parent requests should be done in conjunction through a conference with a guidance counselor, as some of the alterations may have impacts on college applications. It was also suggested that conversations held with guidance counselors regarding the purpose of the pathways to discuss courses which meets the standards required by the state. I think the thing that came to mind really early on was that when we start talking about trajectory, I don't think people understand what we're looking for. And that's why we wanted the guidance counselors and the parents to be in there when you're having a discussion about whether to take it or not to take it. And part of it goes into what you're looking to do down the road. And so if you're looking to go to medical school or something like that, that trajectory, it really, really critical, because you have to have certain courses to meet the requirements to get accepted. If you're going into engineering in a similar way, so it just can't be a choice of pretty much what you might like to do. If you're going to make that choice, you need to understand what the pluses are and what the minuses would be, that you may not be prepared to apply for the program that you're interested in. So I think they're trying to get those things out there. I think they assumed that that all those things were understood through the professional development that they gave the teachers and the counselors, and the presentations that they gave to the parents when they're talking about the course of studies. I think we all agreed we need to make it clearer. We need to make that chart much clearer, and they were working on that as we were speaking, okay, to come up with that. I think sometimes we get caught up and that we understand all the acronyms. We understand that because we're in the business. And I think we have to maybe just make it somewhat clearer and more I'm going to say just an easier language to understand. So bottom line is, I think we came up with some good ideas. They're working on it. I think they're going to get back to the teachers and the guidance counselors when they explain it to the kids, when they get around the course of studies. And I think if this doesn't address the questions that people have, then maybe we'll have them come before the board again and just bring it up once they've done that, their homework. Any questions?
Any questions for Mr. Noble? Sensing none. Finance, Ms. Wiley.
Okay, so our next meeting is Monday, May 14th, next Monday at 6. We're going to have the investor there to talk about TAG. So I didn't know if you guys wanted to continue with curriculum. You want to come so we can have a discussion. It's at 6 o'clock. Monday. It's central office, yeah. So you're more than welcome to come, and let's see if we can, what we can do, what our options are to maybe expand TAG at the middle school. That would be great. But that's all that I have for that right now.
Okay, any questions? No. 12C policy, Mr. Renier.
Committee Ocuromus Consilium Deonde Septimana.
You got
Thank
that
you.
textbook?
Policy Committee will be next week, Mr. Chair. Hey, we're bringing it back. Why not start now?
I don't know if I can follow that.
Next board meeting,
Spiritu-
all in line.
Spiritu Sancte, okay.
No, but we will be discussing the 3000 series next Tuesday.
In Latin. In
I
Latin.
thought so. I just clarification.
12D leadership, we just met. Actually, that's why we were a few minutes late, and we had some things to discuss. Joint facility, we are continuing meeting every Thursday at 6 o'clock over at JFK now. We are working with JCJ on finalizing and getting the grant proposal in for June. Any other points you want to add?
We're getting there.
I think we're making good headway. I think we're getting closer to kind of coming up with the concept. We've had a great discussion,
Yeah.
and we're getting closer. I think probably within the next meeting or so, we'll be there.
And thank you, Mr. Dresnick, for getting any answers right away so they can keep working at it, because that helps out. No delays, no nothing, and we're just plugging away at it.
I'm having some trouble with the connection.
Okay? So am I. Enfield High Building Committee met a couple weeks ago. Our next meeting is on the 24th of May, and just finalizing. Everything's just in the final stages. But, and do we have any other committees?
No.
No? So we'll move to 13, approval of minutes, regular meeting minutes of April 24th, 2018.
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Riley, seconded by Mr. Neville. Any discussion? All in favor, show of hands. I have 700. And special meeting of May 2nd, 2018.
Move.
It's moved by Mr. Neville, seconded by Ms. Riley. Any discussion? Show of hands. 700 on that one. Approval of accounts and payroll.
We don't have any right now.
None. Correspondence and communications.
There's nothing.
Do we have a need for executive session? Yes, we do.
So moved.
So we move to executive session, moved by Mr. Neville, seconded by Ms. LeBlanc. Any discussion?
Just to note that it's
Oh,
related to
related to
personnel.
personnel matters.
Yep.
Thank you, sir. And we will not be returning to live TV, so good night, everyone. Oh, we did vote on it? Yes, everybody showed their hand that we're going to executive session? Yes. Good night.